Hey guys, and welcome back. I am Zemo, the dad in DPS, and today we're back with another episode of the good, the scrap, and the scrip. But before we discuss today's weapon, don't forget to drop me a like, a comment, and subscribe. It really helps the channel out and keeps me bringing you these videos. So, let's discuss the gun that I'm affectionately calling Hail of Bullets. So for this weapon, it is a 2-shot, 25% faster fire rate and 15% faster reload speed, 50 cal. And in normal circumstances, this is a weapon that pumps out a lot of bullets. But with the two main perks, it's not only pumping out a crap ton of bullets, but per bullet, a second projectile is launched, and it's doing around 25% of the base damage of the weapon. Now, this fact isn't without its downsides. As you can see, when you fire the weapon, the spread on it is quite strange. You can see bullets firing off in all different directions. However, something I've noticed when using this weapon is if you go into first person mode, the spread doesn't seem to be quite as bad. Now, I don't know if that's just because of the perspective of the bullets, but this does bring an interesting kind of factor here. So, if being in first person mode makes this gun more accurate, then you're going to want to exclusively play it in first person mode. Now we can go a step further with this and pop into my power armor. If you remember the perks that I was using last time for my broadsider video, which basically specialised in heavy armor, you can see further yet my spread is reduced yet again. So ideally you're going to want to use this weapon almost exclusively in power armor, but that's just my opinion. So let's discuss this weapon. Now 50 cals typically are incredibly good weapons with good fire rate, good damage. They're not a bad weapon at all, definitely up there with some of the better weapons you can get in the game. On top of that, when you combine the fact that it has such a good fire rate, and in particular this one has an even better fire rate, it minces most enemies with relative ease. As you can see, this is not using any form of explosive damage, apart from the legendary perk that I have equipped, and most enemies are just not getting close to deal any damage to me. I mean, that's a horde of ghouls, and they're relatively quickly dispatched by this. Then you've got the Wendigo that is likely lurking around here that I heard. Ah, there he is. Let's see how he fares. Yeah, not well. There's also the fact that because it has such a massive clip size, you aren't reloading all that often. But when I am, I'm reloading that little bit faster. And as a result, the ghouls, in this case, are being completely obliterated constantly. There's nothing really standing in my way from killing them. The downside, obviously, with this weapon is that you're going for a lot of ammo. That literally is the only real downside. I mean, you're getting a lot of damage for a lot of bullets, basically. Ooh. So yeah, it's definitely a good gun, but you're gonna need to keep up on your ammo when you're using it. As you can see with what I have here, I've got 3,000 odd ammo. I've went through about a couple of thousand since I started making this video. And that's just from testing and things like that. It's not me seriously grinding anything. So you're going to need to gather a lot of ammo for a sustained period of time for definite in order to maintain this gun. The plus side is something I discussed in my last video as well, is that the new mechanics on how weapon durability works has changed the fact that 2-shot no longer reduces your durability or your condition of your weapon by 2 per shot, because before, as with explosive, it was per enemy hit, whereas in this case it's, yeah, so the weapon has double the durability it used to in past weeks, so it's definitely a lot more usable than it was. One thing I would say is it is a weapon you kind of want to be using up close and personal, because of the spread and because of all the kind of lost bullets that you're going to get, or lost bullets is probably not the right word, the lost random second shot projectiles. The closer you are to your enemy, I mean, shotgun range, you are going to be dealing your maximum possible damage. I mean, things are just going to get completely minced close up. If you combine that with one gun army and with stabilized and all the other things, things are just going to get stunned to the point where they can't actually get close to you anyway, and you won't take the damage that you need to in order to get murdered. But the gun is fun as well. I mean, what's not fun about just completely peppering an enemy with 1,000,000 bullets in the face? And things just... It's just a very satisfying feeling gun. I tend to find that with two-shot weapons in general. The fact that there's so much firepower coming out of the front of the gun just makes it feel better, even if it's not particularly doing as much damage as certain other variants could. It certainly feels good. So for anybody that watched my quad-sider video, a lot of this is going to be very, very similar in terms of build. We have bear arms for that reduction in heavy gun's weight. Heavy gunner is technically a new addition to this. It's going to boost my damage by plus 20%. With heavy guns, which, as you can imagine, this is one of the heavier guns. I do only have Expert Heavy Gunner 1 here. I can technically move things out for that, but at the moment I've kind of went down the route of a little bit more survivability rather than pure damage output. We've got Lock and Load, which helps me reload my gun 30% faster, which again will stack with the 15% on the gun itself. Bandolier to reduce my ammo weight. Blocker, again, 40% less melee damage. Glow Sight, if I come up against glowing enemies, I'm going to get a big ass boost of 60%. Concentrating Fire's there mainly because I don't really have anything else to put in its place, but typically it would be Grenadier, but as you likely understand, this weapon has no explosive damage, so there's no point having that on here at the moment. Then we've just got your basic endurance, survivability type things. In the charisma tree, we've got things for XP boost and strange in numbers for mutation buffs. You could replace, obviously, inspirational with tenderizer to get that extra 10% damage, which is gonna, let's be honest, be very beneficial against big enemies like the Queen and Earl and obviously the Mirelurk Queen, but I didn't feel like the need to really put it on against them because, let's be honest, they're not the biggest, baddest enemies that we've came up against so far, and I need XP. We've got Nerd Rage for the 40 damage resist, 20 damage percentage increase, and the 15% AP regen. AP regen is really not that important for this build, but you know, the damage is always good. Then we have obviously Stabilize, one of the most important perks I can have, which increases my gun's accuracy, which is probably far more important than the armor boost, well, the armor penetration boost in this particular case. Not in most guns, but certainly with this one. Then we have Gunsmith. Now normally you'd have Demolition Expert because most of my guns are explosive on this character, but Gunsmith is going to stop my gun breaking 50% slower, and because I'm firing my gun 25% faster, I'm basically, you know, not breaking my gun faster than normal anyway. So it's heavily beneficial, and it uses up the exact same perk points as Demolition Expert. I don't really have anything else I can put in that slot that would be useful. Now my agility tree is still a work in progress. Ammo Smith is on here just because I was making ammo before this, and I don't really have any perks that are beneficial, I'm moving points out of this into the luck tree, I believe, but I can't remember why. It'll come to me at one point, but I'm moving perks around. Is there anything? Yeah, oh yeah, I'm moving them into the luck tree so I can get ricochet. And then in the main thing in the agility tree is adrenaline. So, 60% extra damage after I've killed a bunch of enemies. Then you've got Bloody Mess in the luck tree, One Gun Army, which is another very important perk for that 12% stagger and that 12% chance to cripple a limb. If you're firing a crap load of bullets every second, you can imagine this is going to stagger and cripple a lot of enemies. So it's an absolutely fantastic ability for this gun in particular. So let's get down to testing this weapon. Our first enemy will be obviously the glowing behemoth that's sitting here in the lake, and we'll see what we can do to him. As you can see, it's not what I would consider to be a weak weapon. I mean, this guy has not even managed to get up before I have completely and utterly annihilated him. But how about we come back without the power armor on and see how easy it is in comparison. So we're going to test this bad boy on our big friend again. Unfortunately, he seems to have gotten up this time, but we'll see how good we deal damage. Now, the good thing about this gun is the sheer amount of ammo that you fire at things. As you can see, I'm still fully capable of absolutely demolishing them, but if you have One Gun Army on, you'll occasionally just completely stagger certain enemies. So yeah, Super Mutant Behemoths don't have jack on this gun, even if you're in power armor or not. Now, we'll try something a bit more damaging and unable to control in terms of things. I've cleared off all her little friends, so hopefully we'll be able to do this, and we'll just get into laying into the queen. She is definitely a more challenging target than the behemoth, but as you can see, it still does a decent amount of damage to her, though I think she may be immune to being stunned. But when we get up close and personal, we can pretty much take her down in just over one magazine. So that's around, let's say, 400 bullets. And we'll take that little fella out. But yeah, as you can see, we've got all these little buggers at our feet. So you can see, you can still wipe her out fairly easily with this weapon as well. And she's a pretty hard armoured target for a ballistic weapon. So let's go in without power armor. Now, I don't rate my chances. I'm not really... I'm pretty squishy, let's be honest. So, up close and personal against a Mirelurk Queen, I don't stand a huge amount of chance. But we'll make a good go at it and see how much damage we can get in. As you can see, it's not quite taking this gal down as quickly, obviously due to the fact that I don't have the stabilized perk in effect, which would be boosting my armor penetration by significant enough amount that it would make this giant crab get its ass kicked. So we're going through nearly 2 clips at this stage, which is a damn sight more than what we used before, because we're just under, just over 1 clip. So yeah, stabilized, making a massive difference against the Mirelurk Queen. Not as much against the Behemoth as the Queen for definite, but definitely a significant amount for sure. So we'll move on to daily ops for this weapon. Now, in terms of what it can do, it shreds enemies with the greatest of ease. Unfortunately, today is the melee kill only one. So what I typically find is I'm using about anywhere between 15 to 25 ammo per kill, which is good, and you're going to kill enemies really quickly, but you're not going to gain your ammo back. So this isn't a good way to farm ammo for this gun in particular. So don't think that, yeah, farming daily ops with this gun is going to get you ammo. If you're going to get ammo easily, I recently found out if you use the broadsider, you can farm up a load of obviously them and trade them into your ammo like converter machine, and as a result you can get a crap load of ammo for very little effort. So this gun goes for a lot of ammo, so the broadsider is a definite companion for this weapon, because I will be using a crap ton of ammo to go through anything. But in terms of the combat, yeah, it shreds, absolutely shreds during daily ops, but you're going to use a lot of ammo. So that's today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to leave that like, comment, and subscribe as usual. I cannot express enough how I appreciate the support we've been getting recently on the channel. We're coming close to 600 subs, which to me is a massive amount. This is kind of just a hobby for me, so it is what it is, and yeah, I heavily appreciate it. But yeah, the gun itself for today, definitely something I'll be using a lot in the future. I actually quite enjoy it. As I said earlier, it's really satisfying to use. The sheer amount of just animation and bullets and everything coming from it, there's just something so cathartic about it. So I definitely 100% will have this in my usual rotation on my heavy build for definite. But yeah, we'll catch you next time in the Wasteland.